Hey, what's going on, guys? John here, deedsofarms.com. If not, you can find me at green-ops.com. This video is a response to Armchair Violence video on the best system for self-defense. Guys, if you check out my channel, I've recently did a video on the best system for combatives. So, guys, in general, when we're talking about using martial arts for the term of self-defense, essentially preserving our life, defending against serious bodily harm or death in a real-world situation, typically the term I'm using is combatives, right? Now, with that in mind, trying to isolate things or compartmentalize it to where we talk about what's the best system, I think it's a very easy, it's something that a layman can understand when you say wrestling. Like, wrestling is kind of the best system or the best method. It's a much harder and deeper concept when you tell people, like, well, let's use grappling in context with a weapons-based environment. So, and the reason why I want to not necessarily say that he's wrong or anything like that, what I want to do is point out what really matters. It comes down to what you're going to prioritize. So, and my example for this is if we look at an old fight between Murillo Bustamante and Matt Lindland. That's a very famous old UFC fight. Matt Lindland, Murillo had to tap him twice in that fight before he actually got the W. But the interesting of that fight is that Matt came into that, I think, something like 90 days away from competing in the Olympics, where he was a silver medalist in Greco-Roman wrestling, and Murillo Bustamante being a Vale Tudo champion. So now when you hear someone with that caliber of wrestling fighting a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, I automatically assume that, well, this guy got all the takedowns. But that's actually the exact opposite was the case. Murillo Bustamante got almost all the takedowns of that fight, except for the last one, really, where that led into the final submission, where he guillotined Matt Lindland and got the win. Now, that tells us a lot of things. It tells us, because if we look at the jiu-jitsu from back then and we look at it now, what we see is basically a severe shift in the azimuth as far as like where the focus of the martial art is. Now people are getting bigger. Jiu-jitsu, it does something different that wrestling doesn't do, where it opens up a path to entrepreneurship that wrestling doesn't really have. Beyond, if you're not wrestling in college and you're not going to go be a coach, a lot of times what happens is you end up working in like Home Depot or something like that. And it's an unfortunate thing, because wrestling is a fantastic martial art. And it's undoubtedly true that if you go to any small town that doesn't have a martial arts dojo, the high school wrestling coach is likely the toughest guy there by far, right? So what we want to talk about in general, when we want to focus on, is that most martial arts training really happens. It's an anti-intellectual process, right? Like, people kind of come in and they just kind of do what they're told. They're not really thinking about what they want to do. They know that they want to defend themselves and they want to learn some skills, or they want to get healthy or something like that. Think about it. There's innumerable people today learning how to lightsaber fight. Are those people, they're practicing a martial art? Sure, right? But are they really preparing for self-defense? Absolutely not, because it's not like the Sith are gonna come accost us on our way to the Slurpee shop or whatever it is that we're doing today. So, with that in mind, we want to think about that. What is our focus and what is prioritization? So, in terms of as an instructor, what we really want to do is really empower students with that freedom and that ability to think. We want to quote John Danaher, is like we want to be a dictator with the fundamentals, but a libertarian in terms of application and expression, right? So, guys, if you check it out, you guys want to hear more about my thoughts on the best system for combatives, I did a video down. I'll link it down below. Also, check out Armchair Violence. And my brother, hey, no disrespect intended. Love your channel. Love what you do. If you guys check out Armchair Violence, make sure you let them know that John V sent you. All right, guys, take care.